What's up, Ringside Nation? The Ring Boys are back, down one on the night. Artie's going to be away for this week. We got a surprise with Artie coming for the next episode. That's all I'm going to say right now. He's probably upset that I even said that right now. But I'm here with my lovely and beautiful co-host, Doc. Doc, how we doing, buddy?
We're doing good. Recording a bit later than usual, but excited to talk about this interesting fight card.
That indeed. Conor McGregor 2025. The Ring Boys all 2-2-4 to finish out the year. And Sean Brady, man. Great lock pick. Doc has killed the curse. I'm going to give you the airtime here in a second. Yearly overall accuracies on your screen. Artie 223 for 363. Myself 228. Doc 208. Doc's going to do some work. I'm not worried about him. He's gonna pick back up here soon. But he's going to pick up the mic and tell us what he saw from Sean Brady and why you put him down as your lock.
Yeah. Tremendous fight there for Sean Brady. I have tons of respect for Gilbert Burns. He has completely changed around his career. He's just fighting against the best of the best, and that's why he keeps coming up short. Sean Brady, excellent wrestling. He put the wrestling on display. He took Gilbert Burns down a lot of times, but it was way more difficult than I thought it was going to be for Sean Brady. And we were kind of talking behind the scenes, and I was like, I know exactly what I'm going to say about this fight. Already thought I was going to say that Sean Brady should be champ now if it wasn't for the injuries. But no, what I want to say is I was watching what happened between the Gilbert Burns and Khamzat. And that's what I was thinking about. Where Khamzat Chimaev against Gilbert Burns, it did not take any effort for him to take down Gilbert Burns. Sean Brady had a ton of his takedowns stopped. And now the question is, although Khamzat never fights, he does show up on our podcast behind you there, Alex. But can Khamzat beat Sean Brady? And I think the answer is yes. And, Khamzat is going to be one of the biggest what ifs in the UFC. I don't know what that original illness was that put him out for over a year, but that was the main thing that I got from this fight. Outside of Sean Brady putting on a masterful performance, showing off his striking, he couldn't miss. But his takedowns that have been unstoppable up until now were pretty easily stopped by Gilbert Burns. And when Khamzat was doing that to Gilbert Burns had no response. So I want to see Khamzat back. I want to see Sean Brady in the title picture. And that was my lock.
I agree with you wholeheartedly. If Sean Brady wasn't hurt, I think it would be him as champ instead of the current. But I will say, you're missing one minor detail here, my friend. Sean Brady's chin held up like pretty well. Burns was catching him with some good hooks, some knees, and he was getting him late in the rounds. And obviously, they both have good gas tanks. But man, Sean Brady's chin holds up like that. I think we're gonna have some durability going in the late rounds for championship rounds, and that really picks up big for scoring. But I will say, Sean Brady calls out Ian Machado Gary. I don't even think that would be close. I think Sean Brady mops him with the floor. And yeah, I'm excited to see that. Hopefully they make that fight. Would you be excited to see Sean Brady fight Ian Machado Gary?
I think it would be a fine fight. I mean, Gary thinks that he should be champ, and he talks a lot. He wants to be the next Conor McGregor. That being said, he hasn't lost. So I think that it's not the correct move if Sean Brady wants to get to the title faster, but I wouldn't mind seeing that fight.
You and I both. Gilbert Burns, you think he takes some time, or you think he gets back in the ring before the end of the year?
Unfortunately, this career is coming close to being over now. He's lost a few here, and I don't know. His goal is to become champ, and I think at one point during the resurgence, he looked like he had a chance. Now there's just too many active fighters that he's lost to. So he might need to rethink what he wants to do in the UFC. He has done everything that for the company. He has nothing left to prove. He's a fantastic fighter. It's just the UFC has gotten to a point where I don't think he can become champion. He's not getting any younger. So if he fights, it's it's fighting for fun. It's no longer fighting to get back into the title picture. If I was him, he has a great family. I think it might be time to hang it up and start coaching his teammates. I think that he would make a fantastic coach. I've seen videos of him training. The guy does not stop, but unfortunately, he's not going to become a UFC champ.
I agree. I think he's lost a sense of his aura, and he's getting a slow bit in his step. I mean, after I saw him lose to JDM, I was like, yeah, I think we're starting to regress here. But Gilbert Burns, company man, love him. Hopefully one more fight, just as a personal fan. We'll see where it goes. Fight of the night, Natalia Silva, legit? Question mark. Doc, your thoughts?
Yeah. I mean, her striking was beautiful, and she took so many shots to the face and did not go down. And Jessica Andrade has put out many people with those hits, regardless of how few she landed on Natalia Silva. They were so powerful, and Natalia Silva was not backing down, kept on walking forward, kept throwing that kick up the middle that was stopping Jessica Andrade. So, I mean, it was a masterful performance. She had a lot to fight for. She didn't fold under pressure, and it was great to watch. She's exciting in this division. She's going to possibly be a future champ. It's great to see her back out there, and I was thoroughly impressed. I agree. Fight of the night. It was great.
Popping up to 6th on the rankings, Natalia Silva. Very pretty young. Like, there is a lot of young women's flyweight fighters, but I think she's definitely a sleeper and is going to be underrated. And, you see names like Erin Blanchfield, Macy Barber up there. Think, why not? We got to book something for her soon. Jessica Andrade, another Gilbert Burns type of story, potentially out of the way out, potentially lost her stride. What do we think?
Yeah, I think maybe one more loss, and then she's going to be at the same place that I think Gilbert Burns is.
I agree. I agree.
To me, she's scarier in the women's division than Gilbert Burns is in his division. So,
yeah, sure. From one fight of the night to a performance bonus, 50 G's, as we like to call it, for Steve Garcia knocking out Kyle Nelson. And yeah, I almost went Kyle Nelson. You yelled at me behind the scenes because I accidentally gave Artie a green check over Kyle Nelson. I'm sorry, Art. It's late. I'm tired. Trying to get through it for you people. But I won't apologize because I was the only one who saw it coming. And Steve Garcia got the win. I didn't think he was going to get the finish. I thought this was going to be a decision weight. An UD win for Garcia, but it is what it is. Doc?
Yeah, I thought that Kyle Nelson was going to win by submission here. And Kyle Nelson took Steve Garcia to the ground in that first round. And I was kind of shocked that it didn't stay there. I was shocked that Steve Garcia got out of there. And he is a KO machine. I think it's either 5 or 6 in a row that he has. Super crisp. I don't know. He's fast. He's so powerful. And it really didn't take much for him to knock out Kyle Nelson. So that was a great performance. He was able to survive against a submission specialist. He's getting exciting. And with this streak of wins, each one he continues on with, I think he deserves a performance bonus. Because each time he comes out there, he does exactly that. Puts on a performance for us. Made the main card very exciting.
Steve Garcia is one of those guys that, like, you pre-order a UFC video game, you hop on, you create a fighter, you put yourself in the game. That's what Steve Garcia. He does not look like a UFC fighter to me, and he does not have like a UFC fighter name. But boy, this kid packs a punch. Like, he goes in and he just shows in, shows out, and I love to see it. That's something that I want to see in like a Raul Rojas.
He just loves his elbows, and those elbows, when they land, they do some damage. And Kyle Nelson found that out the hard way.
Yeah, we'll get to a nasty elbow here coming up in a sec. But before that, you mentioned you thought Kyle Nelson was going to win via the submission. Who did win by submission was Cody Durden over Matt Schnell. Schnelly boy, I feel like he was also like, is this just the whole card of like people losing their stride? I know Schnell had to go through Steve Erceg, and then Erceg got the title shot, and now Cody Durden. Like, yeah, you can make the case of like, piss poor scheduling, like tough back to back fights for him, but the dude hasn't fought in 2 years. So I feel like this is a case of ring rust for me. I'm not discrediting Cody Durden in any way, shape, or form. It definitely, to me, feels like Cody won this fight more than Matt Schnell, but maybe another guy potentially on the decline, Doc?
Well, it looked like, I mean, that first round was really close. I thought Matt Schnell was landing a ton. Cody Durden was landing a ton. To me, I thought that Schnell's, even though he's not the bigger guy, I thought that his stuff might have been doing more damage. And I was getting worried because they were just on their feet for the whole first round, blows flying left and right. It was super exciting to watch. Like, this could have also been a fight of the night. It just didn't last 3 rounds, so we got to see less of it. But Cody Durden surprised me with that ninja choke, or whatever you want to call it, guillotine to ninja choke. I don't think Matt Schnell was expecting that, and I for sure was not expecting it. I was trembling a little bit, but it was exciting to watch. Cody Durden shows another part of his game. We know he can strike. He's got this submission. So he's going to keep on moving on the up. And Matt Schnell, I wouldn't be upset with this performance. I mean, that first round, he looked like the real deal. So the more he fights, I think the better he'll get. He's still pretty young, to the best of my knowledge. So.
Yeah, and the bantamweight division is one of those divisions that, like, to me at least, when you start to get into the rankings, that's when it like really starts to test. But I don't know. He fought at a lower weight, right? So he's in bantamweight now. I think he lost. Yeah, they fought at bantamweight, so he's still at 13. But if they get him a bantamweight guy who's going to be ranked, like I don't know, I'm not going to give an example, but I think this could be troublesome. Maybe we need to consider what division we're fighting in. Maybe the weight cut's hard. Maybe we'll see what's happening behind the scenes. But
You're saying for Matt Schnell or
Schnell,
for Cody Durden?
For
I mean, Cody Durden looked like the bigger guy in there. Like he's shorter, but he was way more muscular than Matt Schnell. So I don't know if like the weight plays a big role here.
Yeah.
But anyway, it was a banger of a fight.
Yeah. Nonetheless, I feel like that's not been a trend as much. Like, obviously we have the stat, like, you miss weight, you end up winning most of the time and just weight bully, but that didn't seem to be the case. What also didn't seem to be the case, Yanal Ashmouz getting the win, riding out for another fighter that I got right and the boys got wrong. It's funny that the trend has been, I got Steve Garcia right, then went with Schnell, then Ashmouz. It's just been flip flop, and then Padilla, which we'll get into. Is Ashmouz the only Israeli fighter in the UFC?
There's Natan Levy.
Is he still fighting?
I think. I mean, he's lost twice, so I don't know if he's still in the UFC.
Interesting. Ashmouz standing up for Israel. Love to see it. But Ashmouz, good win by decision. But I felt like this was another one of those fights that could have went the other way. Trevor Peek, I felt like, did a little bit more on the feet and the striking. Because if you look at significant strikes, Ashmouz outstruck him, but he had more significant strikes. So I think it's obviously the takedowns that does end up winning him the fight. But yeah, Doc?
Takedowns and control time. Especially towards the end. I mean, towards the end of the fight, I thought that Ashmouz was taken over. And when they went to the judges' scorecards and somebody read out 30-27 and it was a unanimous decision, I knew that Ashmouz had won it. Trevor Peek, still a very exciting fighter. I was expecting him to maybe like catch Ashmouz with one, and he caught him with plenty, but Ashmouz's chin held up. So he's a good defender, but this was his best takedown performance that he's ever had. So that's how he took the victory, and good for him. I thought it was a pretty impressive performance. Trevor Peek is not an easy fighter to fight against.
Good.
And a great way to start off the main card, by the way. I think that the UFC having that as the first fight of the main card was a very good decision.
It's always the first
And
fight.
the last prelim is also a really good decision. So we'll
Yeah,
talk about that.
which we'll get into right now. I mean, we have the eye doctor here, but I'll just give the play-by-play commentary. Chris Padilla hits Rongsu with an elbow so hard that he thought it was an eye poke and started pointing at him saying, yeah, that was an eye poke. It was an eye poke. And Padilla says, elbow, buddy, and just throws him another. I think that's the most disrespectful thing I love. But I didn't love to see an injury, Rongsu. That injury was so bad it had to be a TKO for a doctor stoppage. And, I was thinking to myself, if only we had an eye doctor who could run us some analysis. So, Doc, take it right away, man.
Yeah, so I could give a little mini analysis here, but Rongju was throwing great kicks, great punches throughout the beginning of the fight. I thought that he was winning the fight up until this elbow. And Padilla said that he got the idea of this elbow from that one championship guy, Haggerty, who also got just knocked out by a similar elbow, similarly thrown elbow. Connects on the orbit, breaks the orbit for Rongju, quickly swells up there, and he had to be taken to the hospital almost immediately. You worry about pressure building on the eye. Sometimes you got to do a little procedure, quick relieve the pressure, a little cut on the side of the eye. And I think that they were very worried about that. And I was actually shocked that they let Rongju stay in the ring because that eye ballooned up within 20 seconds, I'd say. It was one hit, and between the doctor stoppage and the elbow had to be 20-25 seconds. They kept him in the ring to read out the judges scorecards 5 minutes. If that's pushing on the eye, the pressure's coming up, that's like an ophthalmic emergency. You gotta get that taken care of. So hopefully his eye's okay. Hopefully it's just the surrounding structures. But yeah, that was disgusting. And I'd be scared to fight again if I was him. But even regardless of how good his performance was, but tremendous job by Chris Padilla. I hope he got a 50 G's for that.
How long of a he unfortunately didn't. So how long does that take for recovery, you think, for like an eye injury of that essence to one, go back to normal, and then when would you diagnose him to be fine to train again?
So, oftentimes with these orbit fractures, you don't really operate unless if it's causing double vision after like 6 weeks, or if the size of the fracture is big enough to where the eye is sunken. I don't know if it was on the top part or on the bottom part of the eye that got blown up. I would assume it was the top, because I think that's the actual area of the swelling. There'd be concern if there's any sort of like hole between like what connects to the brain and the eye. So again, lots of variables here. Rarely is it operated on unless if other stuff around the eye is also getting impacted. So I don't think that they would drain this. You just kind of wait for it to go down. As long as the muscles are intact and the pressure in the eye is okay, then you just kind of wait it out. Some ice packs to the eye, the usual no nose blowing.
Oh,
Classic.
It makes me cringe just thinking about it. Nonetheless, I can read off the rest of the prelims. We won't go through all of them. My lock of the card, Isaac Dalkarian.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Already did it a week or two ago. So despite him, I did this. And then he messaged me on the side and started going, wow. It's like, what, dude? You did it too. Andre Lima showing in, showing out. I think Felipe Dos Santos disappointment a little bit for me, especially after his last fight. I thought it was just the elevation. I thought conditioning probably could have played a role there. All of the boys thinking Yizha just missing on that pick. Yakulina Memoriam, ringer. Andre Petrosky, ringer. Nathan Fletcher. Wasn't Nathan Fletcher on the yeah, he was on the
rescheduled.
Card.
This got rescheduled because it was supposed to be on either a week ago or 2 weeks ago, and Nathan Fletcher pulled out because he was sick.
Yeah.
I think he also missed weight then. But good for him coming back. Good for him.
Buddy was sick and then went in and had a sick performance. All right, that was a dad joke. I'm sorry. Doc, anything on the prelims before we sign off? Jesus.
No, I mean, again, sleeper card right before UFC Noche, which we're all looking forward to. But some great performances out of a few fighters that are on the up. So still ended up being entertaining. A great way to lead into what is going to be a absolute show at the Sphere. Can't wait to see what happens.
The Sphere Kid. Dana White saying that each fight is going to have a movie showing off Mexican traditions and Mexican independence, and every fight is going to be a fun one. The Sphere is going to be a cool atmosphere. Sean O'Malley versus Merab. Doc, you gonna leak your pick early, or are you gonna wait?
You'll see it live.
Yeah, you're taking Merab. But anyways,
5 points, baby.
Anything you want to say before we get out of here? Anything you want to say?
What? Oh, no.
Cool. I'm just excited for 306.
Ready for Saturday.
You and I both. All right. Well, it's been the Ring Boys. Thank you, Ringside Nation, by the Common Man, for the Common Man. And with that, peace.